Hi, it's Steve Morrison here, and you're listening to Chat with Chaps, chatting Millwall, come rain or shine.
Good evening, everyone. How are you doing? This is the Midweek Live as we chat about the Burnley game over the weekend, and of course, looking ahead to Leeds tomorrow night. As always, on the panel to my left is the Sicilian godfather himself, Angelo Miliotto. How are you doing, mate? You all right?
Good evening, good evening. Yeah, I'm still buzzing from Sunday, mate. Still buzzing.
I bet you are, mate. It's amazing we managed to keep a straight face what we're talking about just before we come on there. A few seconds ago, I can see Steve giving it away at the moment.
That's professional.
I know, that's for another story. Another day. We can't tell everyone what that was about just yet. But yeah, you learn something new every day. That's all I'm saying. I must warn you guys, listeners, if you do hear bangs or, some loud noise goes, that they are fireworks. It's not Angelo, putting out a contract or a hit out on anyone. There are fireworks. All right, trust me on that. Good having you, Angelo. And below with the nice dance emoji is the one and only Disco Steve. How you doing, Disco? You right?
I'm really good, guys. Yeah, thanks, Joe. And I'm taking to this disco theme, so I'm gonna ride it as far as I can. So bring it on.
Out of curiosity, Disco, could you explain to us why you blurred the background?
Well, I after last week's show, my good lady wife said, "How did the show go, Steve? Was it good?" I said, "Yeah, it was great." Said, "They like your wallpaper." He said, "I beg your pardon." Wallpaper. She said, "Oh no, you didn't have that on screen." So she said, "You need to blur it or put a background in." So I've managed to blur it. So tonight,
bless her. Well, Mrs. Morton, if you watch this back, we like your wallpaper, we really do. Yeah. The only thing is, it does affect the listeners, though. They do get a little bit high on it, don't they? Unfortunately, and they do come out with some random shit, don't they? Including us. I liked it as well. Get it back.
End of the show.
Maybe or next week.
All.
Okay, brilliant. Guys, listeners, good to have you join us. I can see the numbers are getting are topping up quite nicely at the moment. I must say, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so now. It's very easy to do. If you go back to the YouTube channel, click on the bell. You can even select what you want to be notified. If you click on all, it will notify you every time a video goes out or we go live or anything like that. It gives you a sort of pre-warning on everything like that. So if you haven't done it already, please subscribe to the channel. We need to get those numbers up. They are creeping up. I think we're up to about 1,300, if I'm not mistaken, at the moment. As I dreamt that, but I'm pretty sure we are. And again, give us a thumbs up, give us a like if you like it as well, please, because that, again, it just helps with the algorithms. And as you know what I'm going to say, all the money we make, all the profits we make goes to Cancer Research UK. So we really need you guys to help us out by liking the show, subscribing, to order for us to keep doing what we're doing and make lots of money for Cancer Research. So without further ado, let's crack on. Angela, we're going to go to you first. Over on Sunday, we had a fantastic result against Burnley, High Fly Burnley. 14,245 fans were in attendance to see Millwall win 1-0 with a Jake Cooper header in the 52nd minute, which gives us 3 wins in the trot, 3 clean sheets. I believe it's 1 goal conceded in 5 games, something like that.
Yeah.
What would you make of that performance?
Oh, it's brilliant, mate. Honestly, it's like the best way to describe it was like Neil Harris literally squeezed every ounce out of every player, didn't he, mate? Especially in that second half where I thought we were just so on top. It just shows you. I don't know how the guy does it, mate, but he just gets the max out of. I'm not saying they're average players, but we haven't got the best players in the Championship. We all know that. But what Neil Harris gets out of them is phenomenal, mate. And he got it out of them against Burnley. So impressive. Do you know the great thing was, Joe, was that there was like 3 men of the match, weren't there? Sky gave it to Aziz.
Yeah.
Millwall Twitter gave it to Casper De Norre. And then the stadium gave it to Jake Cooper. And that just shows you how good the team was, because literally they were all good, weren't they, mate? The only one who maybe had a little bit iffy game was Esse. But apart from that, Jensen had nothing to do. Everybody was superb, mate. Everyone was superb, and they were all men of the match, really. Fantastic.
I completely agree with you. I'm glad you touched on SA. We'll touch on that a little bit later in the show about the change in the team. Disco, mate, how are you doing? And what do you think of the game? I presume you did watch the game on a stream or live stream up from Bolton. What did you make of the performance and the result? Was you expecting a 1-0 win to start the game?
No, I think I predicted a 1-1, didn't I, last week, and I genuinely thought it would be a draw. I said we'd win one of the two of these two games, so I'm right so far. But I actually thought we'd draw and win tomorrow night. So if we do win tomorrow night, which we'll come on to, bloody hell, then we're in that real star land. But I would say first, Joe, it's a few years since I've been down for the Remembrance Day. Right, so for me, to watch it live on Sky, I haven't watched it live. I've watched recordings, in the past few years. I'll tell you what, it absolutely put a lump in my throat at the beginning of the game. I know we all say Millwall do it best, but we really bloody do. It's another level. All the clubs do it now. For some reason, I think because it's as if we really mean it, and it's really genuine passion and just on another level. So that started brilliantly. And then, as Angelo said, what a great team performance. They started quite well. Looks like they were going to give us a tough game to start with. I'll put one little dampener on it just to get it started. A little bit worried. I'm not worried about him at all. I think he's doing great. And he's only getting, 6 clean sheets for Jensen now. He's fantastic. But it does worry me that shot hit the post, He didn't save it. It hit the post. Colliosho or cauliflower, as somebody called him.
do you feel he had it covered? Maybe they seemed like he had his hand down there, but you're right. It did strike the post, didn't it?
He was down there, but to me, he shouldn't really. He never judged that to say.
No, exactly. He should have had a hand on that.
But don't want to. No more dampeners. That was just one thing.
Dampener's over.
Yes, but we then just took total control, didn't we? And I've heard a few people say. You're always nervous watching the game, especially at 1-0, because it could go either way and one goal can change it. But really, it wasn't on the edge of your seat worrying that they're gonna nick one here. We
seemed like we're in control, didn't we?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Cheers for that, Disco. Let's go to the chat. Big E, good to see you, mate. It says good evening, Angelo, Stephen, Joe. Hope you're well, mate. Hope all is good in the hood. Carl Bracey, evening. How are you doing, mate? How are you? Husey, evening all. Got the old light bulbs emojis. We're going to talk about that later as well, funny enough. And surprise, guess who's here on time?
Wow.
It's Alex. Good. How you doing, Alex, mate? You right? Good to see you. Did you, what happened tonight? I tell you didn't watch that. Is it part of the match or something? The new program you watch on Netflix at the moment, wherever it is. So you made it on time. Good to see you, mate. Callum, good to see you. Hope you're well. Alex says, yet again, credit where it's due. Remembrance Sunday at the end was class and impeccably observed. Absolutely. There was a time we done the national anthem once. What was that for? Was that for the King's, what do you call it? Coronation, whatever it called it. And we sang national anthem. It's probably sang the best I've ever heard in any stadium, which is incredible. Danny Connis, evening, guys. How you doing, Danny? Danny says, what's up? Big Ange, hope you're well, fella. Do you know Danny?
Yeah, I know Danny, mate. Yeah. Hello, Danny. I've seen him for quite a few years, but great guy.
Oh, okay. He doesn't owe you any money, does he? Anything like that, does he?
I had to pay him to do that, mate.
Oh, right. Okay. Carl says, it was a fantastic game against Burnley. Next is Dirty Leeds. Exactly. Chris, how are you, mate? Good be in the playoffs come Thursday. Who would have thought it? Exactly. And there's old Chris Chapman. Hey lads, how you doing, Chris? You good? I bet he's there with his missus Soph, trying to keep her happy. He goes, yeah. I'll watch this shit film with you, Soph. You got that?
Where is he? Where is he? Dubai, Vegas? Where is he?
I don't know where he is. I know he's not in England. He's probably somewhere in some fucking hot tropical location. Yeah. Hope you well, Chris, mate. Hope you well. Alex says Emma Telfar finished early. There you go. I knew there was a reason. Carl says great result against Burnley. Big Jake, fantastic header. Exactly. Right, let's crack on the show. So lots to sort of to talk about, lots to sort of touch on. So the game itself, as we discussed, there was a 1-0 win, Jake Cooper header. I had a look at some stats earlier, and shot-wise, we had 12 shots to their 8. We had 3 shots on target. Burnley didn't have a single shot on target, which is incredible. Possession-wise, we always know we're going to give up possession. We had 34%. They had 66%. Pass accuracy slightly improved than the last one against Swansea. I think it was like 50 odds. That one, we got 65 pass accuracy. They had 83. But to be fair, I think the way we set up, we're quite happy for them to have the ball around their back 4 or back 3, wherever they're playing, and that sort of just keeps them quiet. We're sitting third, Disco, in the form table at the moment. So Sunderland in the last 5 games have accumulated 11 points. So have Leeds, and so has ourselves. So we're doing really well. We're almost joint first, you could argue, really. 3 wins, 2 draws in those 5 games. What do you put this sort of turnaround to? Because, we spoke earlier this season about us playing well, not quite getting the results that we were due. But has anything else changed in your eyes these last 5 games to give us this run?
I think, look, without a doubt, we're starting with a very, very solid defence now, aren't we? We're clearly very hard to break down, either at the back or midfield, the whole team, effectively. And that's a base to build on, isn't it? And then when you look at it, we have got the quality to, if we do get a chance or a breakaway, like Swansea, like Sunday, we've got the quality to be able to take those chances. So I think it's a good mix of that. And I think Angelo mentioned before, that's on the back of SA not having a particularly good game. And I put that a little bit down to, I think they marked him out of the game a little bit. I think he was trying a bit too hard, it seemed. He'd obviously gone over to the left, hadn't he, because Aziz was on the right. So a combination of things. But I wouldn't mind betting one of the biggest aspects was he was almost trying too hard, because he looked really frustrated. So even with him not playing well, we still go and dominate that game, So, no, I put it to solid foundations, the ability to still create and take chances. And look, I don't want to get carried away, but we do look like the real deal at the moment, as though we can certainly compete with the big boys and anyone else. And, watch this space how the season's going to pan out.
Excellent. Cheers, Disco. Angelo, what's your thoughts on our last sort of 5 games and the kind of fine form we find ourselves in at the moment?
Well, Harris has definitely made a tactical change, isn't he? Because obviously at the beginning of the season, we were one of the top scorers, weren't we? And now we've gone back to like very tight games, obviously all the 1-0s. And obviously that's what he done to save us from relegation last season. Mate, I'm fine with that. Honestly, if we win every single game 1-0, I'll take that all day long, mate. And literally, that's what he's done, isn't he? We're not attacking as much as what we were at the beginning of the season. We completely tightened it up at the back. I feel sorry for Japhet Tanganga. He's so fucking good, that guy, that we've got used to it now, how good he is. Do you know what I mean? But since he's come in, mate, him and Cooper, just like fantastic partnership. But yeah, mate, I'll take these 1-0s all day long. At the beginning of the season, I said as a joke in our WhatsApp group, I'm going to bet 1-0 Millwall every game this season. And then we started like 4-3, 4-1. Do you know what I mean? It was crazy. But he's now gone back to the to keep it tight and just, if we keep a clean sheet, we're going to score at least 1 goal. We're going to win. We're going to win a lot of games. And one thing as well, Joe, right? How many games we played now? Is it 13 games?
13, I think, yeah.
I've still not seen a team that I think, fucking hell, they're good. Do you know what I mean? And what that means to me is we've got a chance this season, mate. There is this division is not that great this season. Listen, we got Leeds coming tomorrow, and I do expect Leeds to have a little bit of the wow factor. But mate, honestly, if we grab something tomorrow night, then I don't know where we could go by the end of the season, mate.
Absolutely, and also I think we have sort of reverted back to the old style we did last season when we were trying to aim for survival, and it was working. We picked up loads of points, weren't we? And we were sacrificing the attacking football at the time to grind out these results. And it's almost like Harris has reverted back to that again to get these points on the board. I saw some stats earlier where since Harris taken over Millwall, I think he has generated 45 points in that time, and only Leeds have generated more with which I think it's like 47 points. Now, if we beat Leeds tomorrow, he's now got 48 points, and Leeds have generated 47 points since he's taken over Millwall, which makes him the most, the best manager or the best team, performing team, if you like, in the Championship since he's taken over, which is incredible. It's really incredible, And we carry on going for the rest of the season like that and accumulate all these points. Who knows where we finish? Brighton have done it in the past. Brighton have, when they got promoted under Chris Alton, they played the most boringest football. They're very, very 4-4-2, very compact, very defensive. And they used to win 1-0s here and there, keep clean sheets. I mean, just that Jury Scalak, didn't they? Played them at the time. He was playing every game for them going up that season. So just shows you it's possible. And as you said, Angelo, there's not many good teams at the moment that we're kind of blown away by. I think tomorrow's a real test. Tomorrow will be a real test. If we can handle Leeds tomorrow and get a result against them, then the world's our oyster, really, isn't it?
Let's be honest about it. I was expecting so much from Burnley, and all they had was that cauliflower, called him, on the wing. He was the only one that I was thinking, oh my God, this guy is unbelievable.
Who did look good, to be fair, didn't he? Yeah.
He did. He could probably play in most Premiership teams. The pace he had was incredible. But the rest of them, mate, there was nothing special whatsoever. And a lot of the younger players couldn't handle the atmosphere, mate. They had a lot of young players there,
And I'm glad that I like to think that a lot of the fans listened to my Delia Smith announcement the other week where I asked for a bit of atmosphere, a bit of bite, and I'm going to claim that one. Obviously, I had no say in that whatsoever, but
do you know what, mate?
My tiny head, I did.
You should start the light show tomorrow night with a
start with a big shiny red nose, something maybe, couldn't I? A bit early for Christmas, but yeah. I'll give it a go. Let's go to the comments because I can see them building up. So where are we? Carl says, where are we, Carl? Great result against Burnley. Big Jake, the fantastic header. Exactly. Chris says, he's with Margot Robbie at the moment, lads. You enjoy. You dirty boy. Yeah. Callum says, Essay on the left. I don't particularly like him there. Prefer him on the right, lads. What do we think? You know what? I had that written down. I think we'll discuss it now, Angelo. It seems like we've had to almost to fit Aziz in order for him to thrive and get some better performances. It's been to the detriment of Essay having to move him out to the left. But it's quite noticeable the last game or two, he hasn't quite been on it, Essay, like he had previously when he's on the right-hand side cutting in. What's your thoughts on that? And, is Harris right or wrong to do that?
It surprises me really because I believe they're both left-footed, aren't they?
They are.
So if he switched Essay from the right to the left, I thought Essay would adapt to that because he is left-footed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it a coincidence, Joe, or is it the switch? I don't know, mate. But one thing for sure is Aziz the last two games. It's benefited the team, Aziz's performance, to the detriment of maybe Romain Essay. But I'm sure if Romain keeps playing there, it'll get used to it, mate. He's left-footed on the left side. He should be fine, shouldn't he? So I'm not too concerned about it. And obviously, Aziz has been really great the last two games. 2 assists, two good chances on goal as well. He's unlucky not to get on the score sheet himself.
Yeah, I agree absolutely. Disco, do you agree with Angelo? Angelo said two assists in his last two games, playing on that right side, cutting in. Obviously, set up Casper for the Swansea goal, and he created the goal for Coops on Sunday. What's your thoughts on that? And are you happy with that change? Do you feel that Essay is suffering a little bit with that? Is that the right thing or the wrong thing to do?
Yeah, look, I think it's a dangerous one, isn't it? Because look, your best player, one of the best players, you're moving him out of position to accommodate potentially somebody else who is getting better. So great, but then I'm not sure that's why his performances have been a little bit not as good. I do think it's more he's a bit of a marked man now. He had two men on him every time Sunday. So
I noticed that.
I think, like Angelo says, he should be able to play on the left, and I think he will do. I think it's more a case of being marked and targeted by the opposition. I think Bomber's got a bit of a reputation, hasn't he, in the Jed days and what have you, of swapping wingers as well, where they swap wings, which I always like that. I think
I like that.
if it's not working, change. So they should be able to do that between them as well. So I think we'll get a bit more of that. I'm not worried about SA. Somebody, I think it was Hughesy, said maybe it was for defensive duties to help out Brian. And that could be right, to be honest. You know, look, it's amazing, isn't it, to think SA is more of a defensive player than
Well, he's certainly learned that art, isn't he, of defending as much as attacking.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's go back to the comments, guys. Paul, how are you doing, mate? Good to see you. Good to have you with us. Born Free, Die Free says, evening, gents, 4-2 tomorrow. Onwards and upwards. Top 2 for Christmas. Come on, you fucking Lions. I love that. Carl says, in Super Neil Harris, we still trust. Alex says we're almost better out of possession at the moment. I have to agree with you there, mate. I was worried about Brownhill, and I thought he offered very little. It's true, actually. I was expecting more from Brownhill, to be honest with you. But I think the Burnley lady, if you watched it, the preview where we sort of did the opposition review with George, and she spoke very, very highly of him. I think she even described him as being too good for this division. But I thought Casper and Sav got the better of him every single time, if I'm honest. Dave Martin, evening, lads. Love the show. Gonna watch this back. Best podcast on YouTube. Come on, you liars. Onwards and upwards. Bless you, David. That's really kind of you to say, mate. I'm sure you have subscribed, and I'm sure you've liked this already. But if you haven't done so, please do that. I really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Chris says, wish he would put De Norre as a 10 and move Honeyman into midfield. You know what, Chris? I completely agree with you. I've been asking for that in my head for a long time. I just feel that maybe Honeyman's more suited to that midfield role. He's got the box in him, and it allows De Norre to kind of play that 10 role, pick a pass. We all know technically he's a good player. He can finish as well. So, I wouldn't be against that idea whatsoever. Alex says, SA not having the best game live on Sky isn't the worst thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You're absolutely spot on there, Alex. Although I think there are a couple of stalkers at the moment watching him, aren't they? And I think regardless of what happens, I'm sure there'll be some kind of offer made in the January window, sadly. Carbre said SA would be better at number 10, but Casper De Norre played that position against Swansea. True, And I think if you ask SA right now, where would you rather play? I think even he would say number 10. Yeah, put him in that free role. Let him do what he wants to do. Let him thrive. And, I think he'll make a real difference for us. Paul says, Joe, I came and said hello to you at the Luton game. Yes, you did, Paul. Yeah, how are you doing, mate? Good to have you join us. Appreciate you coming on. Hope you're well. Callum says, thought Leonard was quality on Sunday, dealing with Jayden Anthony. He was, to be fair. I mean, how many times do we say that about Leonard? I mean, he's great one-to-one. And I think at the moment, you look at Leeds United, and their only real threat this season, they've got lots of threats, of course, but their most standout threat, the player who is sort of becoming their best player of the season already, is that Ngotto, I think his name is, the Italian winger. And I think he plays on that left-hand side. And I'll tell you what, I do fancy Leonard to sort of do a number on him and stop him again. So let's hope he does that. Guys, I want to touch on a couple of the performances. We talked about Aziz's performance, didn't we? And how he kind of fit really well in that role, and he's got 2 assists. I think we should have an honourable mention for Casper De Norre and his performance, because sometimes Casper, we all see he's a good player, and because he's a good player, it's almost like we can't give him any more praise or credit. We just expect these performances of him week in, week out. But one thing that really stood out to me against the game on Sunday was not just how good he is on the ball. We see how good he is on the ball, but it's the work he puts in now. And I've seen it this season where he's really having to adapt to English football. He realises he's got to put a lot of work in, and he has to cover a lot of ground and put a lot of tackles in and make interceptions and be physical and be strong. I looked at some stats the other day about GPS. And, they wear those vests. It tells you how far they've run and what they're doing, all the rest of it. There was a game, I don't know if you remember, I'm not sure who it was against. It might have been Preston, when he comes off in the 75th minute. And everyone's a little bit shocked to see, why is that? Like, why didn't Saville come off? Why did he came off 75 minutes. Anyway, in that game, I'm sure he done something like 14 or 15 kilometers in that game. And although Saville completed 90 minutes and Casper done 75 minutes, he actually completed more kilometers than Casper did. Than Saville did in 90 minutes. Which just shows you, like, how fit this lad is and the effort he puts in, the work he puts in off the ball, And I think the way we set up at the moment, we do spend a lot of time without the ball. And having Casper in that role, who can fulfill the duties, which is so hard to do off the ball, but also adds that ability and that touch and that passing ability he's got on the ball. I just feel what a great player, Steve. And I don't know whether you agree with me, whether you feel that he's somebody who should be on in the first 11, he should be on starting list every week. What's your thoughts on him?
Listen, 100%. Listen, he's turning into a phenomenal player for us. Two things. He's the opposite of Zian a bit, isn't he? He had an okay season last year. He showed glimpses of being good. But this season, I'll tell you now, he's going to be close to player of the season, if not player of the season. He is consistently delivering fantastic performances. And as you say, Joe, it's not just his quality of passing and movement. It's his break-up play and the dirty side, which I've got to say, give a lot of credit to Bomber and the coaching staff. Have obviously worked with him to develop that, which he's doing brilliantly. So I think that first and foremost. And I was going to say something else, and it's bloody lost me mind now. But I think Chris said, didn't he, in one of his shows, that when he got substituted, it'll be down to this GPS or the facts that they have. I mean, it's phenomenal, isn't it? The information they have now in terms of, we'll sit there and think, hang on, he's our best player and he's playing really well. What are you taking him off for? They're looking at the data that's telling them he's tiring or, he needs to have a break, whatever. So we have to trust that sort of element of it as well. But no, I'm very impressed with him. And I think he could play various roles as well. He can play that centre mid. He could play a 10, as you rightly say, as well. So, look, I think he's going to have a great season.
Brilliant. Cheers, that Disco. Angelo, just want to get your thoughts on Casper. I mean, in game week 13, which was the Burnley game, he achieved the highest interceptions out of any player in the Championship that weekend. I believe it was 5. It doesn't seem like a lot, but believe you me, it is a lot in one game. I think the second person was like 3, and there's a few 3s, there's a few 2s and a 1s, whatever. But he achieved 5 interceptions against Burnley in that game. What do you make of Casper, and also I guess the sort of transition he's made into English football and adapting his style to better suit this Millwall team?
I think it's quite clear to say that when Harris first joined, I don't think Casper was his cup of tea.
No, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't get much game time at all, did he? Whereas I think this season, he's probably first name on the team sheet, mate. Now, one of the interviews that Casper did, he did say that he's been given the licence to go that little bit more forward than Saville, and Saville stays behind. And I think that's probably why he's doing so much more mileage, mate.
It's the box-to-box.
Yeah, he literally is doing the box-to-box consistently. And the last couple of games, he's hit a few over the bar. He's had a couple of chances. Yeah, he had one. So he's getting that little bit more forward. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got his goal at Swansea. He's a fantastic player, mate. And I think he loves it at Millwall as well. Like, do you see that celebration he done when he just intercepted the ball, like in the Burnley game?
Yeah. I didn't see that at the game. I didn't see it, obviously, in the live game. You don't see everything, do you? But I did see the replay of it. And he does his interception, a great interception. And he really sort of punches his face, doesn't he? You can see, what he meant to. He was really pumped up, weren't he?
Yeah, I saw that live at the game.
Did you?
And, I just get the feeling he loves it at Millwall.
He does.
And I think Neil Harris is like, that's the great thing about Neil Harris, mate, is that he does get the best out of players, doesn't he? Like, we was all saying, why ain't he playing Langstaff? Why ain't he playing? Because he's working on him. Aziz, why is Aziz? He's working on him. SA, why is he getting not much? He was working on him, and I think I think that's what he's done with Casper. Casper, fantastic, mate. Honestly, do you know something as well, Joe? You know, last season it was so easy for us to pick our player of the year, wasn't it? It was easy, easy. Can you imagine if the season now? Who would you choose? There's so many.
I don't know who. at the moment.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. I think there's quite a few, isn't there?
Yeah, which again makes us think this ain't no fluke us being up there in 7th place, mate. We have got a fucking good team, and we've got a great manager, and we could surprise a few people, you know.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Right, let's get back to the chat, lads, before they start building up a little bit. So, where are we? Where are we? Okay, yeah, cheers for that, Callum. Yeah, so Alex S says, do you think SA being the watchman at the moment is keeping eyes off Tango? I would say so, Alex. I mean, I don't know whether or not I certainly haven't heard of any rumours of Tango being looked at. I think there's rumours that he could have a release clause as well, a bit like SA, but I don't know if the release clause comes into effect in the first season, him being here. But yeah, there is that possibility. But let's be honest, there's no way he would have signed for us, Tango, and done a 3 or 4 year deal on a free if he didn't have the option to play. Maybe the clause says, if a Premiership club comes in, he could go and talk to them, and there's a certain money agreed. So who knows? But yeah, I mean, I like to think that possibly all eyes are on Essay at the moment, which probably allows the likes of Tango to kind of fall under the radar a little bit, maybe. Chris Brown says, is Brian suspended versus Leeds? If so, let's hope Danny Mack makes left back his own. I believe he is, Chris. Which also opens up the opportunity for Muzza, for Wallace to get back on the bench again, I believe, because otherwise, who else we're going to have at the back? We're going to have Hutch, and I believe it'll be Wallace as well. So I'm pretty sure he'll be down to start tomorrow night. That's not a bad thing, is it? Against Leeds at home, when you're trying to defend against these tough wingers, he'll be up against is it James, the Welsh winger, who's a bit of a handful anyway. So it'd be good to have him in there. I'd rather have him there. No disrespect to Joe Bryan, but I think I'd rather have Danny Mack in that game tomorrow anyway. Alex says, can Sav play 3 games in 7 days if selected for Leeds and Stoke? Really good question. I think he had that bit of a breather with the Swansea game to the Burnley game, but then having to play again tomorrow night, I personally think it's probably 1 game too much for Sav. However, it's such a tough game against Leeds United where you're having to defend for large parts of the game. You really do want Sav in the middle and that team protecting our back four. So I'm sure, whatever happens, it'll be the right thing to do, whether he starts or not. But we'll soon find out. Paul, how are you, mate? Good to see you. Hope you're well. Hughesy says, did everyone see the club's World Cup trolling on X? I did. And guys, if you haven't seen that already, get on the Millwall social. I think it's on X, Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, when X basically takes a snippet from a Burnley interviewer interviewing Scott Parker, trying to say that when we won, it was like our cup final. I think you could even see in Scott Parker's face, but he was a little bit cringed by that. The remark as well. He didn't really sort of take too hard into it. But Millwall, as often do, they absolutely destroy this guy on the socials. If you haven't seen it yet, watch it. I love to see the John Cena music at the end, the old wrestler. Chris says, no, please not Wallace. Mate, I'm in agreement with you, but until January, I think we're gonna have to have him. I mean, he's been a great servant for our club. Let's just hope that if he is called to come on, it isn't from the 10th, 12th minute. It's going to be the last 10 minutes if we have to shut shop, whatever. Paul says Swansea's first defeat at home this season and Burnley's first defeat since August. What a week. Unbelievable. And that only happens with us, isn't it, with Millwall. Steve, while I got you, sorry, I think it's Angelo, sorry, first. Talking about players, the return of Josh Coburn. What did you make of his performance? Obviously, he's not completely match fit at the moment, but he comes on for Langstaff. I think it's on the 70th minute, I think it was. What did you thought of his performance, and did he give us anything different when he came on?
He weren't on long enough, really, was he, mate? But I'm so pleased that he's back to full fitness, because when he did come in for that game and a half, he made a massive difference, mate. Someone that can hold the ball up and then bring other players into play. So. Listen, he didn't do nothing special against Burnley, but I'm so happy that he's back, mate. Really am. And I've got a feeling he might take Langstaff out tomorrow night.
I was going to ask you about that, whether you think he might start against Leeds, whether you're going Langstaff or...
Well, they got 2 really good centre halves, mate. They got that guy,
Rondon.
They got Roden from Spurs. He's really strong. And then the other guy's got a funny name. I can't remember.
Struts.
Yeah. He's a really tough defender.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be Langstaff's cup of tea battling against them. So I can probably see Josh Coburn starting tomorrow.
Yeah, I like him to start. Obviously, whether he's fit enough to do 60 minutes, that's what you need to do. You need to do 45, have a break.
I do hope we don't like push the big Serb out of the way. I still want the Serb to get his minutes.
Yeah, me too. You can almost sense, can't you, at the end of the Burnley game when you look at the looking back at the highlights, and they're all coming on the pitch and all quite happy. And I'm sure he was happy we got the result, but you can see in his face he was disappointed he didn't get on the pitch. So hopefully there's a reason behind that. Maybe he might feature tomorrow. I'm not saying he's going to start, but maybe Langstaff has a rest. Maybe Josh Coburn starts. Maybe he comes on second half. Who knows?
And also, Joe, on that note, I've read a couple of things that Bradshaw might be back for Stoke on Saturday. All of a sudden, mate, it's going to be a battle to start up front for Millwall now.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. Steve, what do you think, Disco, with regards to Josh Coburn? Was you pleased to sort of see him coming back in a feature, albeit for sort of 20 minutes?
Listen, over the moon. I mean, crikey. I mean, overall, what a bloody bench we had. It was mentioned, wasn't it? When you get the team sheet, which you pretty much know what's going to be, but when you look at that bench, it was such an attacking. Even
Disco, sorry to interrupt you there. Just to let you know about the bench, we had Danny McNamara. We had Hutch on the bench. We had Ryan Wintle. We had Duncan Watmore. We had Josh Coburn, Liam Roberts, reserve keeper, Daniel Kelly, Imarku, and Miha Ivanovic.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a strong bench. I don't recall us having a bench that strong before. Do you?
No, not at all. And you just knew, you thought, cry, even if we're up against it, we can really shake it up and make a difference from the bench. So really good. Look, Coburn coming on ahead of Ivanovic, I think that's just to give him minutes and obviously a bit more experience. He did look a little bit unfit, didn't he? And match fitness, certainly. But he made a nuisance of himself. He gave him a bit of a run around, didn't he? Which was good. I'm like you, Angelo. If he's fit enough, I wouldn't mind betting he starts tomorrow. And one of the other reasons is he gave Leeds the run around for Borough, didn't he, in the cup, if you remember.
Oh, he did, yeah.
He scored one or two. He scored a cracker against them. So I'm sure Bomber will have one eye on that. And little unfortunate on Langstaff. Not the perfect game for him because, he got muscled out a little bit, but he works his nuts off as well.
He really does.
Great header as well, wasn't it? Great header.
Yeah. Very unlucky with that. Keith pulled a really good save. Right, let's get back to the chat very quickly. So Carl says Danny Mack is really good as left back. I agree. I think definitely defensively he doesn't give us quite as much going forward like Joe does, but I think defensively he is very, very good. Andy says Langstaff and Coburn to start. Yeah, very, very bullish. I mean, I like to see us start with two up front. I don't know whether Leeds is the right game to do it against them, but who knows. Callum says set pieces will be key tomorrow, Adam. True. Again, if you listen to behind what you want to call it, oppositions, Chris Chapman, if you haven't seen it already, go and watch it. It's on YouTube. It's only about 20 minutes long. And he has a chat with, I think, a guy called Mike Gray, who's a Leeds fan, who's got more of a London accent than Chaps has, which is a bit weird, But he talks about it. And I think the question we asked to this Leeds fan, what's your weaknesses? And he admitted that, in set pieces, they're shocking. They're not great, both in defence or in attack. So that might be a route there for us if they want to play, the likes of Josh Coburn or Ivanovic and play with two big lumps up front might be the way forward. Who knows? Certainly we need to play for free kicks in and around the box so we can and help it get some corners.
I thought our corners were much better as well.
Definitely were, didn't we?
The way we tried to bring them into the keeper with Cooper just under the crossbar, it worked a treat. So I'd do that again.
No, I think that definitely works. Top Cat, good to see you, mate. He said, I think something happened between Harrison and Marku because he doesn't even sub Marku on anymore. I know. Although there was the other game, I can't remember what it was now. I think it might have been, was it the Preston game? I can't remember what it was now. But Marku didn't really feature in that game, but he did give him a little bit of a tap around the back of his head as he walked off the pitch. So who knows? Maybe he just wants him to fight for his place. Maybe he wants to see more in training, from him. Who knows? Callum says, we'll be watching. Good stuff. Chris says, no, please not Bradshaw. I know. I love Bradders, but I think his time's done, to be honest with you. And I would be surprised if we see him leave in the January transfer window, if I'm honest. Top Cat says, I also think Ivanovic should start. Yeah, good shout. Paul says, Coburn's introduction gave us an out ball when we were under pressure. Won his aerial dues, held it up well, and took the pressure off the boys at the back. Class. Paul, I completely agree with you, mate. I thought that immediately. You just see straight away he was up. He's an experienced player. I mean, he's a young player, but he knows what he's doing, isn't he? And then when he comes off for Langside, you can see what he gives us. Yeah, he's suddenly winning headers. He's holding the ball up. He's linking up play. He's being aggressive, you know. I mean, okay, he's not exactly the finished article, as in technical-wise, Josh Coburn, but what he gives us is so suited to what we need as a front man for Millwall. So let's hope we see more of him. Let's hope we can keep him injury-free. Alex says, I love Bradders, but surely he's fourth choice striker at the moment. Yeah. I'll put him down about 5 or 6 if I could. But yeah, I mean, I mean, if you saw him, I think he played for the under-21s, didn't he, yesterday? Played 45 minutes, got a penalty, and he missed it. You know, I think he hit the post. So he's not exactly on fire at the moment either, sadly. So it might take a bit of time before he gets back into the thick of it. Carl says, but surely we have to play Langstaff and Ivanovic as they belong to our club. Josh Coburn is on loan. I get that. But then, you know, if you've got a player of his quality that can make a difference to our side and make us tick, then I'm all for it. You know, if he has to go back in January, because I think he has got a recall, then he goes back. You know, we've still got the likes of Ivanovic and Langstaff to play. But at the minute, I think having him up front, it definitely makes a difference to us. Hughesy says, I like the BFS to start and score with Coburn come on for 15, 20 minutes. Yeah, great shout. Poe says, Bradders' time is surely up. Yeah, I like to think of it. I mean, he's a lovely guy. I mean, everyone loves him. The players love him in the changing room, don't they? The fans love him. I love him, but he's just not the player he once was. And, you know, I just don't see how he will get into this team at the minute, unless it's like, 10-minute cameo at the end, maybe. Alex says, if everyone's fit, who's first choice striker? Very, very quick answers to you guys. Steve, who do you go for? And then Angelo, who do you go for? Coburn? Angelo?
Coburn
as well. There you go. Right, okay, let's move to the next point. So, battle.
What about you, Joe?
Coburn.
Yeah.
Coburn, yeah. Don't get me wrong, I love Ivanovic.
Yes.
If we didn't have Coburn, I'd be more than happy to start Ivanovic. But for me, I think Coburn definitely allows us to play as a team. Question I'll ask you guys, and I can't remember who I went to last now. I think it might have been Disco last. So we'll go to your first, Disco. Battle for midfield places is the question I've got for you. At the moment, we've currently got Casper De Norre, we've got George Saville, we've got Honeyman, we've got Ryan Wintle, we've got Billy Mitchell, who's was seen at the ground yesterday. Okay, he's not quite match fit, but I think he did play. I'm sure he played 90 minutes for the under-21s the other day.
Or certainly 45. I don't know whether it's 90, but
certainly
45.
I'm pretty sure. Maybe he might have done 45 or 70 minutes. Who knows? But he did play quite a bit. And of course, we've got young Kelly and Massey still. So that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 7 central midfielders there. Who's your preference out of them lot? Who do you think should start, and who are the ones that got a really fight to get into the team? I mean, if Billy Mitchell's fit, does he walk into this team at the moment, or does he need to sit out and wait for his turn?
No, listen, I'm a big Billy fan, but no, how can you split up Sav and Casper at the moment? But I think somebody mentioned before, can Sav do the 3 games? I think he can actually, and has done it consistently over the years. But it's nice that we've got, probably Wintle would come in first at the moment on fitness and what have you. Billy in the wings. I think looks like Billy's going to take a little bit longer. I mean, it's been another bloody major setback or out injured for a while, hasn't he? Which isn't good for him, really. But look, more than good enough when he gets back and he's fit. Wintle, Honeyman could play in there as has been mentioned. But for me, the 2 at the moment are the set 2, and I'll be absolutely gobsmacked if they don't start tomorrow. Those 2, that'll be start. Maybe not Stoke, but they will start tomorrow.
Okay, and Andrew, what's your thoughts on that? Who is your preference at the moment? And has Billy Mitchell got a right to get into this team at the moment, or is he going to take, God forbid, an injury or a suspension or something to allow him to break into that first team at the moment?
Yeah, first things first. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So,
I agree.
the guys that are there at the moment, they've got to stay there. The only thing that I will say is I've said this before on this show, is I am a big believer in rotation, like once we get the Billies back and whatever, let's start making subs at 60 minutes. Give the guys a breather. Do you know what I mean? Because we've got the quality coming on. It ain't
fresh
such a
legs
bad
on.
thing. Yeah, at the moment, we're making subs at 70, 75, 80. But when we got a really fit, strong bench, let's start giving people a rest and bring players on 55, 60, 65 minutes, mate. I really strongly believe in that,
I agree. And therefore, the likes of Kelly, Massey, do you see them featuring much from January, or do you see them going out on loan maybe? What's your thoughts on them too?
Yeah, well, you know what it's like, Joe. You never know what's around the corner, mate. It could be some injuries, some suspensions. You just never know what's going to happen. At the moment, it looks like we're going to be very, very strong in that department.
Yeah.
But yeah, these youngsters, they do need their minutes. Maybe, if Billy comes back well, maybe send one or two of them out on loan, especially Massey's, you know what I mean? Send him out.
Yeah, and of course we've got that young lad, Race Bangura Williams, who plays for the 21s at the moment. I'll tell you what, I'm a massive fan of him. Guys in the chat, I don't know whether you've seen this kid play before, but he is absolute quality. I think he's 19 years of age. And speaking to Shamar Lawson and Brooke Norton-Cuffy and Essay about him end of last season, and they were raving about this kid. They're all saying, what, he's the next best thing that's going to come through. So he plays the centre midfield. I think he's a left-footed centre midfielder, but I tell you what, he's so ahead of his years. He's a great player, covers a lot of ground as well. He's still young, so he's still filling out. He's still getting stronger. So I don't know whether he's quite ready yet to break into the first team, but he is somebody who possesses unbelievable technique and skill, great attitude. I'm hearing as well. He's a good person, a really nice young lad. Comes from good stock, good family background. And I, for one, would love to see him break into the first team. But again, with so many players ahead of him at the moment, it's so hard to see these youngsters, the likes of him, the likes of Massey and Kelly, breaking into in our first team. So I think we'd be better off sending these youngsters out on loan, Steve. In January, just till the end of the season, with a recall if we need them, I guess, and let them flourish and get them some more minutes. Do you agree, Disco?
Yeah, listen, Bomber always says, doesn't he? It's what, because we get a bit frustrated as fans when you've got what you feel is a decent player. Well, what are we sending him out on loan for? Let's give him some minutes. But if you're a bit part player and genuinely getting 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, even 20 minutes, it's nothing like starting games week after week, is it? And the physicality and the experience, etc. So he always says it very well, Bomber, doesn't he? That it's what's right for the player and right for the club. And as long as we're saying, look, it's not to get rid of him, it's to help him develop and get the best out of him and then, come back a better player. Why would we do that? We've got Mayer. Don't forget fucking Mayer.
I know. He's coming through as well. Exactly.
I'm keen to see him because he's playing about 100 games at second division level, isn't he? That's a lot of man's football,
That guy's winning awards when he's not even playing.
He's that good. He doesn't need to put his boots on, does he?
Yeah, he won an award when he ain't even playing.
Yeah, unbelievable. But their academy director at Morecambe, I mean, okay, it's a massive statement here, but he calls him the next Gareth Bell. That's how good he is. He says he's pacey, he's fast, he's strong. Obviously, we need to see a lot more of him first before we make those sort of statements. But great.
In that, I do. Bomber mentions him a lot, doesn't he? And he's normally a bit cautious. But he's been in him, and I think, I think he likes him,
I've heard he's impressed quite a lot in training from the sound, right from the off before he got injured, and that's why he made a good first impressions. Right, let's get back to the chat, guys. Sorry, mate.
Joe Edwards, one gift to us was getting in.
Yes, exactly. Top Cat says, I think we'll beat Leeds 2-1. I love that. I hope so. I mean, I'll be happy with a draw. We'll talk about the scores later, but if we could win that, wow, it'd be amazing. Danny says he has to play Coburn to show the BFS how to play in the Championship. He is the perfect big man for us as a team. You know what, Danny? You are 100% spot on. I thought that as well. I think he looks at Coburn as someone who can teach Ivanovic the way, and that's a great shout there. And I think that's why he's almost like a bit of an understudy to Josh, although Josh isn't much older than him himself, is he? But you're absolutely spot on there. Carl says Brothers works but doesn't score. It's true. And there's lots of similarities, Cole. I don't even know if you agree or not. There's lots of similarities between him and Langstaff, I find, that both of them very similar players. They both like to work hard. They like balls dropped in and around the box. But I just feel that Langstaff is a slightly faster, younger, fresher player. You know, I can't see Bradshaw getting ahead of him at the moment, sadly. Yeah, exactly. Chris says, De Norre as a 10 with Honeyman and rotate Mitchell stay midfield. Love that, Chris. Love that. I wouldn't argue that at all. Carl says, Billy should start instead of Sav.
Wow.
Massive statement there, you know, because I think Billy certainly got more legs than Sav. And I feel adding Billy to that central midfield alongside Casper, it kind of takes a bit of the pressure off Casper, as in he won't have to do as much running, which means he'll be able to play on the ball a bit more and utilise his energy a bit more. But I tell you what, when Sav's in that team and he's on it and he's fired up and he pulls those shorts up and then right up his arse, you know, like a fucking pair of Daisy Dukes.
It's like a nappy, isn't it?
Oh, I tell you what, and when he does that, I think, yeah, he's on it. He's up for this. He's up for this. But it takes him to really yank up his crack to
you know
to get
what?
himself psyched up, doesn't it? You know.
You know, Sav, he kills me how he wins them free kicks all the time as well.
I know.
He is class at them, isn't he?
That's experience for you. That is, isn't it?
Every ref falls for it, mate. Honestly.
Yeah.
Every time he does it, I just laugh my head off.
I know. Good
Hey,
player.
don't talk about free kicks. You've seen, or penalties. You've seen the bloody Cooper assault, haven't you? In the second half. I mean, how is that not given? Jesus.
I know. Let's go back to the chat, guys. So, yeah, good shout there, Carl. Top Cat says, Marco has also played in Europe. That's Ireland?
With Ireland, yeah.
Europe? I suppose it does, doesn't it? Chris
No,
says...
they were in the Europa League, mate, his old team.
Shamrock Rovers.
I think he might have even played Champions League qualifiers or something.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. I know PSV Eindhoven were... I know PSV Eindhoven were interesting, weren't they, in the summer?
No, Imaka definitely played in Europe, mate. Yeah, Europa League.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying he's definitely destined for Europe, isn't he? The sort of player he is, maybe. Chris Brown says, and is Scanlon close match fit? We're hearing reports that he could be back by Christmas time next month. So again, he's not far away. But again, what I love the option to have another youngster in there, and I'm pretty sure we've gotten to the end of the season as well. So. Yeah, we get him fit again. I liked him when he came on. I know he played 20 minutes, half hour, but what I saw of him live, I liked him. I thought he looked really good. He looked good going forward and good going backwards. And we always argue the toss about, do you prefer Joe Bryan over Danny Mack because one goes forward, one could defend. But I tell you what, I think this boy can do both. So it'd be good to see him back in the mix. Right, guys, Neil Harris. We spoke about earlier. We talked about how much he's really transformed us, how he's getting these group of boys playing for him. We know on paper we're not up there as one of the best teams in this league, but he seems to find the way, Harris, by hook or by crook. He's got this way about him where he can get the best out of players and get them running through brick walls for him, Angelo. And I don't know about you, but before you know it, we'll be talking about the contract. He's saying he's going to sign his 18-month contract. He signed an 18-month contract, which would theoretically taken till the end of this season, but by Christmas time there'll be lots of questions asked. Is he going to sign an extension? Is he even going to get an extension? Is there plans in place to replace him? What's your thoughts on Neil Harris? First of all, should he get a contract? Should he stay? Does he want to stay? Should he be offered one? What's your thoughts, Angelo?
I pray he stays. I pray we give him a contract, and I pray he signs the fucking thing because he mentioned. Somewhere along the line that it was like an FA Cup game against Burnley. And that's what he done, didn't he? He got the players fired up. He got the players at 100% maximum effort. He done it. And then the great thing was he kept mentioning the Leeds game. I'd love to play in the Leeds game. Yeah. So he's already getting them fired up for that. And I just know that tomorrow they're going to be fired up again. The atmosphere should be cracking. I'm sure Leeds will pack the away in. And coming back to him, he's just so good at getting the max out of our players. There is nobody else, I think, that could do the job that you even said it earlier, Joe, right? You said Pep Guardiola couldn't do what Neil Harris is doing with our players. And I agree, mate. I don't think there's many managers out there that can do what he's doing with this set of players. And I'd give him a job for life, mate.
Spot on. And Disco, what's your thoughts on Harris? Do you agree with Angelo? Are you against the idea? What's your thoughts on Harris and whether he's got a future or should have a future at this club?
Listen, 100%. How can we not want the guy to be managing our club right now? You know, he is Mr. Millwall when he through and through. But he's added now, you're right, Angelo, an absolutely top quality man manager. Sorry, ladies, people manager these days. You have to get it right, obviously. But he is top notch. And we've mentioned a few names there, people like De Norre and what have you. Must be thinking, this guy's fantastic. You know, I'll run through brick walls for him without a shadow of a doubt. It does worry me a bit, Joe. He did, if I remember rightly, he was quite bullish, wasn't he, that I'm doing 18 months. He didn't say, then I'm out of here, but he said, I'm come back to do 18 months. And it was almost like, that will be it.
You didn't want to discuss anything further on that, did he, really?
Surely he wouldn't want to leave when we're on such a crest of a wave. We're top 6, aren't we, on 4 this year? So
I wonder, lads, how much of a part, and again, I don't know anything, I'm just speculating here and I'm just thinking to myself, how much of a part would it play what goes on upstairs in Harris making his decision? Because, there's lots of rumours before, about the board or, and Nugent and whatever, and Gallen, having played this role of sort of director of football and him being quite involved in the day-to-day stuff, and whether Steve Gallen is the reason why he's not quite sure about committing. We're led to believe that there's nothing to worry about and they get on really well and everything else, but you do wonder there's more to it, Disco. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, look, I think, without a doubt, anybody in work, wouldn't you? It's your bosses or the people upstairs do influence whether you enjoy what you do or not.
Good answer.
But he seems a lot. You said it last week, Angelo. He seems a lot happier at the moment, doesn't he, Bomber? I think things have settled down. In fairness, he's probably looking now and thinking, actually, this recruitment hasn't gone too badly. Look at my bench on Sunday. He wasn't turning around and going like he did the other week. He was
exactly.
Fuck me.
Great shout.
What do I put on?
Good point.
I'd say he's really enjoying it, and I would imagine he'd want to stay part of it. But it does stick in my mind when he sort of made a point of, I'll do 18 months and that'll be it. But what would he do? Where would he go? You know what I mean? This is his club, isn't it?
Has anyone noticed, right? Or is it just me, right? In his interviews in the past, probably 4 or 5 weeks, right?
You're going to stay here,
He keeps calling himself the manager and not the head coach. Have you noticed that?
Yeah. And he talks a bit more. I'm not saying he never talked passionately about Millwall, but it's almost like he acts like he was an employee of Millwall, whereas now he's almost taking ownership. Whether there's been talks behind the scenes, we don't know. But he certainly seems a lot happier in these last few games. We mentioned, didn't we, in the Swansea game, how he comes out of the dugout and he was happy, he was beaming, smiling, really, really up for it. He talked about the Leeds game. He can't wait for Leeds and he wishes he was playing. I wonder whether there's been some chats upstairs. Yeah. And maybe they've kind of ironed out a few creases here and maybe, possibly, giving him some answers that he wanted, what he wanted to hear. That might dictate what goes on in the future.
And Joe, obviously you was at the game. Steve, I don't know if you picked it up on the TV, mate, right? But against Burnley, the fans sung his name a lot more than what they have done, didn't they?
I noticed that.
Yeah, and
almost a bit too much. I don't mean that in a negative way, but almost like, okay, like you're milking it a bit too much now. Like you're right.
The Super Mule songs were coming out of front and centre. Yeah. So, and I hope he appreciates that because we all want him to stay. There's no two ways about it. We all want him to stay.
Well, I do. Guys, in the chat, be interested in your thoughts. Are you a Harris stay or Harris go? If you just put it in very, very quickly, we'll have a check on that and get an idea or flavour what you guys think in the chat on that one.
Joe, one last thing, mate. One last thing. What Steve said as well, mate. Yeah. What would he do after this? I know full well that Neil Harris and his family, they are crazy Millwall fans, mate.
His sons are all Mill fans, aren't they? Apparently,
yeah. My son, and Neil Harris's son, they know each other. They've worked together in the past. My son knows Neil Harris' son very, very well. They are crazy Millwall fans.
Are they?
They love
that's good to hear.
They love the club just like we do. And I'm talking about Neil's wife, Neil's daughters, Neil's son. They all do, mate. So what would he do? You know, he's loving his job. He's doing absolutely brilliant. He's got to stay, mate. He's got to stay.
I think he would love to stay, but I think there'd be conditions, weren't there? And I think he would want to say first and foremost, look, you know, forget all this head coach malarkey. I want to be in charge. I'm the manager. You know, yes, people upstairs can make certain decisions, but he wants to have a bit more say in how the club moves forward. Maybe, who knows? You know,
it was a funny one.
Yeah.
But like I say, I would imagine he's quite happy with the recruitment at the minute. So hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so. Back to the chat, guys. Callum Jackson said, should Cooper be captain? I would prefer Sav as captain personally. I agree. I'll be honest with you, Callum, I'm not sure I've heard this before, but I don't think Sav wants the captaincy.
Yeah, I've heard that hundreds of times.
Yeah, I think he mentioned, didn't he, Andrew, that he wants just to play his game. He's happy to be a leader on the pitch, and he'll happily shout at someone and call them out if they do something wrong. But I don't think he wants the hassle, because between you and I, Cal, I think there's a lot more that goes involved in being a captain. It's not just what you see on the pitch; it's what you do off the pitch. They've got to sort out the changing room. They've got to sort out, you know, fines for players. They've got to sort out, you know, nights out. They've got to do a lot of stuff, you know. And it seems like Jake is happy to sort of do all that stuff, whereas Sav's got to that point now where he doesn't really need an armband to sort of like shout at players on the pitch and lead from the front. Dion says, what would be a bonus if we find or trade a free kick taker? That shit is abysmal and costing us chances. That completely agreed, Dion. There was a free kick. I'm not sure if you saw it, Dion. Second half where we're at sort of 75th, 80th minute, maybe. I think it might be 8. It's quite late in the game. It was a free kick, weren't there? And I'm thinking to myself, actually, it's about the 85th, 87th minute.
85, 89,
and I was thinking, get the ball in the corner. Let's kill a bit of time. And you can see Savile looking at the bench, like, what do I do? What do I do? And he goes for it with his left foot. And again, it's like miles over the bar again.
Yeah, no, Joe, that was 93 minutes. That was
93 minutes. Yeah, there you go. There you go. I think he's so desperate to score one.
To Leonard and let him. We said it every week.
I know.
Yeah. Leonard and let him have a shot.
Well, I think it was Josh Coburn that peeled off to the right hand side, and I thought that's a great move there. Get the ball into him into the corner. Let him hold the ball up for kill 2 minutes. But he went for the shot, and it's quite sad. It took a very quick goal kick, and straight away we're on the back foot again. You know, so disappointed. But very good point there, Dion. Carl says, "I love Super Neil Harris. He loves Millwall. Completely agree." Danny says, "So true. Love Harris. The only thing he gets in wrong is telling Honeyman and Save they banned from touching the ball for free kicks."
Honeyman and Sav.
Yeah. Oh, Sav. Sorry, that might be Sav. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I think that has to change. Again, I'd love to see Essay on it, or even get Casper on it. Yes. I mean, I heard Casper's pretty good at set pieces. We used to play at his old club. His old club, he used to be the free kick taker, corner taker, but he's not getting a look in at the moment.
Who's
I don't
that,
know whether Casper De Norre.
Oh,
he used to take set pieces in his previous club. Yeah. Danny says, at this rate, I'd rather Danny Matt take them. Danny Chappell says he's Harris stay. Alex is saying Harris stay. Paul is saying Harris stay as well. Hughes is Chopper in. Carl is stay definitely. I mean, this is unanimous. It's lovely to watch. Lovely to see, guys, isn't it? Danny Chappell says Harris gets a tune out of an average side. He gets them battling what other manager can do this 100%. With a shit budget too. Completely agree. Chris Brown says get Jensen to take the free kicks. If he aims for the corner flag, he'll probably end up in the top corner.
I think his kicking's getting better, Jensen's.
Yeah, I think so. He's definitely working on it a little bit.
Corners were better as well with that.
Yeah,
it was just
catching and he's commanding his area better now. Harris has already proved he'll do what's right for the club and even put that above his own wishes. Completely agree. Gary Miles says Sav is captain in all but name. Completely agree. Guys, just want to mention something to you very, very quickly. So I've had some inside information that Zian Flemming obviously saw the guys at the Players' Lounge after the game. He was very disappointed with the way that Burnley played. But he also mentioned about, how much he misses the dressing room. He mentioned how much he misses the lads and the boys and all that stuff, and I think he got a taste of what it means to be at Millwall again. And I think in some way, I'm not saying he regrets it, far from it, because he's got his move, he's earning good money or whatever. But I'm sure there's part of him thinking himself like, I really miss this club, and the atmosphere was cooking as well. Tricky Ricky, I'm not sure if you're in here, Tricky Ricky, but on Twitter, he messaged me today. He says, question for you guys later on in the show, he said, Do you think with Zian Flemming leaving, that the other players have stepped up and are flourishing now, as he was always looked as sort of the superstar, Angelo? Do you agree with that or disagree with that? What's your thoughts on that?
Do you know what, mate? I can't put my finger on it, Joe, right? He was our best player, but we're not missing him. It's ridiculous. We're not missing him. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. And again, I have to put the credit back to Harris, how he's just, he's put Honeyman in there. I know Honeyman's not everyone's cup of tea in that position, but the bottom line is he's got us up to 7th position and we're moving in the right direction.
And scoring goals as well.
Yeah, listen, I didn't
want 1 goal game, but, we are scoring.
I didn't want Zian to go. I didn't. You know what I mean? He was our best player. But it's really weird. We haven't missed him. I haven't missed him. No. And I think the whole family.
I agree with you. And I really thought I would. I thought we would really struggle and suffer. But, I think SA stepped up. I think Casper stepped up. Honeyman stepped up. Watmore stepped up. I think a lot of players have stepped up now that he's not there, and be interested what you guys think in the chat as well, if you don't mind commenting on that. Disco, what's your thoughts on that?
Listen, it would be quite interesting to see him playing in this team in the 10 role. I don't know, would he be better? Would he look better? Would he make us better? I think a lot of people said he always used to slow us down a bit, didn't he? Thing. But look, fact, we are a better team without him playing. Fact, we are. So we haven't missed him at all. And thank you very much. We'll take your 7+ million and roll on. Look at he's a nice lad. He seems a decent, nice lad, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, he came out, he mentioned how much he loved the club, he loved the fans, he misses us and all that. But I just really think, hearing what I've heard, I think I think the point I'm trying to make here is that we're lucky to have what we've got. And I think we take that for granted sometimes. And hearing an ex-player come back, say about how much he misses the change room and how unique we are, and I think it's quite touching. It shows we're quite fortunate to have what we have, and we have got a lovely dressing room. The players all get on really well. They all play well for Harris, as we discussed. I think that is probably the big piece, that big ingredient that we have that other clubs don't have in this division, which is where we are at the moment.
And you'll have seen, he's seeing that now, watching it. Thinking, I'm missing it. Add to that, Joe, we've got that, but we've also got a bit of quality as well, haven't we? That's that, and that again, going back to Bomber, that's probably why he's feeling good at the minute. He's thinking, Jesus, I've got
some options there. Exactly. Guys, elephant in the room. Disco, if I do this to you.
Oh. We just start trying to save a ball at Jensen.
What's your thoughts on this amazing light show that we're going to witness for the first time tomorrow night against Leeds?
Yeah, interesting.
So before you start there, in the chat, are you light on? Are you light on or light off? We'll come to the chat in a minute, but sorry, Disco, crack on. What are you going to say?
I'm not a fan. I don't like all this razzmatazz and modern day stuff. And when I've watched it, Borough do it, don't they? Leicester, I think you said, Angelo, you saw Leicester last season, and a few other clubs. But so it's not my cup of tea. It's not very Millwall, which I get. People are a bit like, fuck that. We don't need this shit, this wokey shit, as I heard somebody say the other day. But then I do hear, friends in our group, Paul and Jesper and what have you, saying, look, really good for the kids, and we need, it's a bit of entertainment, bit of fun, brings a bit of drama. So if it's done well and, in that way, I suppose, look, I'm not going to fucking rip my ticket up and go home, I'm happy to sort of, let's see what it's like. I'm not a big fan of it, but let's see what we can do. And certainly doesn't make me want to switch off or anything like that.
And Angelo, do you agree with Disco? Are you likey or no likey?
You know what, mate? Right, I'm actually lights on. Right?
Are you?
Yeah, last season I went to the midweek game away at Leicester.
Well, that's because you're a lover, not a fighter.
So me and my son and one of my mates, we went to Leicester away. I didn't know they were going to do a light show. It's the first one I've ever witnessed, mate. I've never been in a stadium before with a light show. I liked it.
Did you?
It was pretty good. Yeah, they had like the flamethrowers as well. You know the machines with the flames coming out of it. Yeah. So the flames were coming out. The music was blasting. The lights were flashing, and I actually thought it was fucking decent. I actually liked it.
So unlike the majority of our fan base, you actually like.
It's the first time I've seen it. It's the first time I've experienced it. I liked it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I know there's loads of people going mad about it. It's no big deal. Do you know what I mean? Like Steve just said, the kids will love it. Yeah. The big kids like me will love it. I like my fairy lights, mate. I like having loads of fairy lights. I like my lights.
Who would have thought, eh? The Sicilian Godfather is actually the guy who's had about 20, 30 killings, allegedly, is a big softie at heart and actually likes a light show.
I like fairy lights.
I like fairy lights.
So no, on a serious note, right, the kids are going to like it. It's no big deal. The only thing I have heard is that someone told us our one's not going to be that great. Yeah, it might be a little bit phony, but let's see what it's like. I'm not going to boo. I'm not going to boo it. I think there is going to be a lot of booing, but it is what it is, mate. It is what it is.
I know. I tell you what. I mean, I'm probably in a group with you, Angelo. I wouldn't mind seeing a bit of a show, a bit of a spectacle, some lights. The only thing is, as you say, I don't know if it's going to be done that well. It's kind of like a real kind of basic light show. If we had maybe blue lights and lights stay up in blue, and make that kind of blue theme and get that going with a bit of blue and white and stuff, and make it feel really Millwall, then yes. Yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah, just police cars coming in around the
run out.
Yeah, exactly. We might have to, start a fire, get the police in or something, maybe. Yeah, but
listen, is it before kickoff? It's before kickoff, is it? Just do like 5 minutes of music. Yeah,
I think if it is pants, apparently it's only going to happen 3 times this season. So
it'll be interesting to discuss this next week, guys, and see what your thoughts are afterwards. Very, very quickly. I'm not sure if you guys follow Millwall poll on Twitter. If you don't, you should do. So there's a poll out said about the Millwall will debut the light show tomorrow night, and what your thoughts are. There were 3 options. It was I like the idea. The second option was not for me, and the third one was I'm neutral. Now the 8% liked it. Only 8% are for it. Yeah, 60% are not for it, and the 32% could not give a shit. Basically, But interesting that there's a massive difference there. So out of best part of 400 votes, only 8% actually want to see this light show. And 60 don't. So it'd be interesting to see if that 60 can be turned after tomorrow night. It'd be interesting to see how that pans out, of course, I'd
say, though, Joe, from that 40% are either not bothered or
32%. 32% not bothered, yeah.
So 40%.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to be glass half full.
64. Yeah, good point.
It's actually a nearer split than it. It's not quite as near as the presidential election.
No, exactly. But no, it's just interesting. But I think give it a go. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not terrible, is it? It's just a 5-minute light show. If you don't like it, go and buy another pint inside or whatever, or get a pie or whatever. So there you go. Back to the chat. So where are we? So Carl says stay. Yeah, we saw that one. We've done that one, yeah. Gary says, Sav, it's captured. Okay, so Craig Morgan says, I was moaning about Cooper's headers last week. I should moan more. Mate, keep moaning, Craig. You've done us a favour there. Big E says, at any level or league, Sir Neil Harris and family always part of Millwall. They all bleed blue. And back what Angelo says about his Harris family. Spot on. Yeah, you heard it from Big E himself. Big E says, Flem, what's the score? Flem, what's the score?
Was that his missus with him as well? Was Flem in the stand? Yeah.
Who's that? Fleming's missus?
Fleming's missus, yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't look at women. Carl says Flemming
interested in dads.
yes, I'm more interested in the dads than the wives. Carl Brace says Flemming and Nisbet didn't want to play for our club. We are a better club now without it. So
Nisbet.
Yeah,
I don't think Nisbet's playing again. Has he got injured or something?
He got injured.
I think he's been. Yeah. Is he? I thought he was on the bench or something, wasn't he? The last.
Oh right, I thought
he might have been injured. Yeah. Danny says we'll miss SA more than Zian. Absolutely. Alex says also he's gone from cosmopolitan London to a small northern town. That's true. That's very true. And I think having sort of spent a long period of time in Canary Wharf, it's a lovely part in London and quite flashed, and then being up there with cows and sheep and people speaking funny up there, he must find it so different.
Disco lovers.
Yeah, well, I thought you up that neck of the woods, didn't you, as well? God. Alex says, my athletic mate is dreading tomorrow's game. Make sure he's wearing dark sunglasses, won't you, Alex? Look after him. So Paul goes for light off. Callum went for fuck the light show. It's embarrassing. Rather watch Disco Steve on the dance floor.
Arranged. It might.
How quality would that be? Steve appears in the centre circle,
and the spotlight comes into suddenly you hear the Bee Gees
or on the scoreboard from his funky living room.
Only if I get a rotating circle.
So funny. So you there, guys?
Brilliant. Puff of smoke.
Yeah. Where are we? Sorry. So Chris says, I ain't got a problem with it if it helps out the club. Very good point. Hugh said the new den, the big screen, LED ad balls, now light shows is moving with the times. Gary says, I don't give a shit if it saves us a few quid. Danny says, do we care about the light show? I prefer that they change the CD. Songs played at Den are getting a bit old now. So Craig's light off. Oh, are you there, guys?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I've got a problem with my headphones. Sorry about that. Dion says, good to see you on the channel. Joe, remember seeing you with chaps when you lot were about 13. bless up. Nice one, Dion. Craig says, wouldn't mind some cheerleaders.
Yeah, that's a good one. Good talk.
God, yeah. Chris says, Craig, we ate Palace for fuck's sake. Dion says, crystals, Craig. Excellent. These lights they come to FA wattage after all. Okay, excellent. Right, so guys, we've been on here for quite some time.
Were they a big difference, the floodlights?
Well, I think these lights are like more energy efficient lights, aren't they? So I think they're saving the club a lot of money, on their electric bills. They're supposed to be better.
Could you notice the difference? Was it brighter, when they?
It's supposed to be brighter, but then a lot of people do argue that it's not as bright in the middle of the pitch, apparently. So I don't know what that's about.
Was it not there's new lights in the stands, like halfway in the stands?
Yes,
the roof,
inside on the roofs.
Yeah. They're the new lights.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So they're.
Do you know what? Just quickly, we've been rocking all over the world every time we win. Yeah. We've been doing that for years, haven't we?
Yeah.
Have you noticed how many Premiership clubs are doing it now?
Everybody now.
Exactly. I've heard one or two. I have heard one or two.
Loads of them are doing it now.
Oh, really?
And Hey Jude. They all do Hey Jude.
Catching on. It's catching on. Excellent. Okay. So, guys, we covered off quite a lot tonight. So, even the light show for tomorrow night. Tomorrow against Leeds. Predictions. And again, while we're waiting for Angelo Disco, in the chat, put your predictions, please. Put the scores in there. How do you think we're going to get on tomorrow night? But we'll go to you first, Disco. What's your thoughts tomorrow evening? How are we going to get on? What's your score prediction?
Good question. This time last week, I would have said it and Leeds 2-1 to us. Right. Now, bottling it because I think, can we win both? So I'll go with my heart that says 2-1 win. my head says a 1-1 draw, but I'm going to go 2-1 win. And I'm not getting carried away with, oh, we're on a winning. Oma will have us up for that. Like anything, I'm telling you. Talk about Cup Final Sunday. Tomorrow night will be something special. We will not go down without a win, down with a whimper. So, yeah, go on. I'll go 2-1.
2-1. You go 2-1. Disco, nice one. Angelo, what's your thoughts on tomorrow's? How are you going to go and what's the score going to be?
Yeah, I'm sticking with my 1-0 to Millwall. I've just got so much belief in the defence at the moment and their siege mentality to keep the ball out of the net. Just to let you know as well, mate, Leeds have had 6 away games this season. The bad news is they haven't lost any.
Right.
The good news, they've only won 2.
All right, okay.
So they've won 2 and they've drawn 4 and lost none.
Yeah.
So they've only won 2 away games, which is like, you'd be scared, mate,
Yeah. So what's your prediction, sorry?
1-0 to Millwall.
1-0 to Millwall. Okay, so you both go for wins, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And are you going to put a bet on this time, Angelo?
Yeah, I should do, shouldn't I,
mate? You should do. Or we'll have the same conversation next week, won't you?
But you know, I'm so unlucky, Joe, when it comes to betting. If I bet,
you can't be good luck with everything else, can you? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So with the good looks and your pasta making dishes and your
fairy lights now.
Your fairy lights, exactly. You can't have it all, Angelo. Can't have it all.
What are you going for, Joe?
I'm going to go for a win. I'm going to go for a bit like Andrew. I think I'm going for a 1-0 win. I can see us keep another clean sheet again. I'm hoping we score early. I think I read a stat somewhere. I don't know whether it's true again, whether you've seen it also, that I think since Harris has been in charge, whenever we've gone 1-0 up, we never lose.
Correct.
I think we've won.
16
we've
games.
Won like quite a big, like 8% of it. I think we might have drawn maybe a couple of games, but we've often gone to win. We never lose.
I think it was 16 games, 13 wins, 3 draws.
That's it. It was a really good stat. Yeah. So again, if we could get our noses, in front and shut shop and score early, then it'd be amazing. It'd be great. So I'm going for a 1-0 win. Alex going for 1-1 Coburn. Callum's going for 1-1. Steve is going for a 4th 1-0 win in a row. Easy B's going for Leeds win 3-0. I think it was 3-0 last time, wasn't it, Easy? I don't know whether you were there, mate, or not. But I mean, I think I'm hoping it'll be a different performance tomorrow night because we're not the same team we were back then. But
let's see. Edwards?
Sorry, mate? I think it was under Edwards, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure it was Edwards, yeah.
Rolled out.
So it'd be a different Millwall, Easy. Carl says, don't do predictions anymore. Chris is going for 1-1 Jensen free kick, top bins.
Brilliant.
Craig going for 2-2. Hughes is going for, is that how red cards? One red card, 7 yellows, 2-1 Wall. Put that bet on, lads. I'll see what the odds are of that. Danny's going for 2-1 Coops and Coburn. And Alex says their only away wins are Cardiff and Sheffield Wednesday. Okay, interesting, cool. Okay, well look, we've been on for an hour and 23 minutes, guys. I mean, we keep saying it every single time we must do it under an hour, keep it under an hour. But I tell you what, like it just happens. I can't help it. It just flows, doesn't it? And again, it's thanks to you guys on the in the chat, watching this and commenting and keeping it going. So appreciate it. So Disco, anything you want to say before we end off?
No, just look, great time, isn't it, to be a Millwall fan. We're all buzzing. The banter on the chat groups and on here is fantastic. A key stat for me is, and I'm like Bomber, I don't like stats, but I keep talking about them, is the fact that at this stage of the season, we've got a positive goal difference. I don't think I can remember a time where Millwall have been this early in the, 12, 13 games in and had a positive goal difference. It's quite a telling stat, that. So, look, I'm not getting carried away, but I do think something special is happening, and let's ride this wave and let's bloody enjoy it. And just for Angelo there, I will have my light on tomorrow night.
Start singing, "We are the world, we are the people."
And I'll get some flashing colours for next week.
Exactly. Brilliant. Love that, Disco. Thanks, mate. Cheers for coming on, mate. I appreciate your words of wisdom. Angelo, I want to ask you, Angelo, do you feel there'll be any changes tomorrow night for the Leeds game? And again, just want to hear you end off. Anything you want to add to it before we wrap up?
I think obviously we got the change that has to be made, which will Danny Mack will come in, won't he, for Joe Bryan? And I do think he will. Do you know what? I think he might even start the Serb tomorrow. I'm not sure it would be right to give Coburn like a start so soon after his injury. So I've got a feeling he might start the Serb. You know that. But I think we need all of our experience tomorrow, of course. But on Saturday at Stoke, let's make some changes there. Do you know what I mean? Let's freshen it up. But the thing is, we've got another international break, haven't we, after Stoke?
Yes.
So we just need one massive, big more effort tomorrow night and Saturday. The boys get a few days off, chill out, and then I heard someone say that when Kenny Jackett, when he was manager, he always used to say you should never, ever, ever look at the league table until like 15 games have gone.
Till at least Christmas.
Yeah, so like we're 13 games in and we're 7th. We never normally that high so early, mate.
No.
We normally come with a rush like second.
No, you're right. Exactly. And also the performance of October's results. I mean, I don't know if they announced Championship Manager of the Month yet, but surely Harris is in the running for that, though, isn't he? I would have thought.
Yeah, he's got to have it, surely, mate.
I would have thought so.
Conceded 1 goal the whole month, was it? Was it 1 goal?
Yeah. We had what, three wins, 2 draws.
Yeah.
So it's pretty decent.
Did we lose to Cardiff, though? Was that not October?
No, I think that might be in September, wasn't it? I think.
No, it was October. Yeah, it was October. Yeah. So we started off with a 1-0 defeat at Cardiff.
Oh, we did.
Sorry
right.
to be negative.
Yeah, no, that's right. Cheers for that, Disco. Thanks for bursting my bubble. Fucking hell. I'm joking. Well, listen, lads, thank you very much. Before we go to the chat very, very quickly, Easy B said, come on, lads, the big boys are coming to town. I'll be back for the review. Easy, we'll see you next week, mate. We'll discuss it. Harry says, do I need to bring my Jack and Jills for the light show? If you do, mate, make sure you let us know where you are. Like Steve, see what you look like. Alex says, you first are way too interested to keep it under an hour. Oh, bless you, Alex. And we'll take you away from Emmerdale Farm as well, so it can't be that bad, can it? Carl says, come on, Wall, come on, your Lions. In Super Neil Harris, I still trust. Lovely. Danny says, hit the like, lads. Yep. Cheers for reminding me, Danny. If you haven't done so already, guys, please like the show. Please comment on there. Things like that, comments, likes. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done that yet. It's so important for algorithms. Big E says, Disco Steve, just shine the light on the wallpaper.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure that's back next week. We want to see
the wallpaper. We want the wallpaper back, mate.
We want it back. We want it back. And Chris says, great show, lads. Does Steve do discos or is he just a dance floor diva? He does, mate. For a price, he'll do anything.
How did this all start? I can't remember.
We might have looked back at one of the early shows, didn't we? What it was the 2 a.m. analogy, wasn't it? I think it was, wasn't it?
Oh, right.
We mentioned before.
You touched on John Travolta originally.
Might have been that, I think, yeah. Cheers, fellas. Great shows, as always.
Who cares? A bit of fame. I don't
Brilliant.
know.
Guys, I'm going to end off by doing my Delia Smith. Okay.
Here we go.
It worked for Burnley. I'm going to see if it works this time.
Right, Joe, pretend that the Millwall team is watching, mate, yeah? Come on, let's give it large.
Okay. I need a sherry here, really, all right? But we need a 12th man. Where are you? Where are you? Let's be having you. Where are you? In all seriousness, guys, against Burnley, it was, it was unbelievable. 14,000, it wasn't quite packed out, but it's 40,000 fans there. And they made a lot of noise. I think even Neil Harris mentioned it, and I think the players thrived with it. A packed out Den tomorrow night. I'm hoping, I know it's a midweek game. We don't usually pack it out midweek, but because it's Leeds, I'm hoping we will. Let's fucking make some noise. Let's make it hostile. Let's make it loud. Let's make it noisy. Yeah. If you're talking after the game, you ain't shouting loud enough. Yeah. You've got to lose your voices. Really give it to you. I see it beside me sometimes. I'm sitting there. And I feel like I'm a fucking an idiot sometimes. I'm the only one screaming and shouting and looking around. I'm getting looks off some of these fans to look at me to sort of keep quiet. Jesus, it's not a fucking library. What's wrong with you? But listen, let's make it noisy. Let's make it hostile. Let's be that 12th man for the boys. Let's really kind of push them and work our hardest to make it a a fortress as it has been. So, listen, guys, appreciate you coming on. Thank you again, guys, on the chat. Love you all. And we will see you next week, next Tuesday at 8 p.m, where we will review the Leeds game. So, again, enjoy the rest of your week. Work hard, and enjoy the game tomorrow night. All the best, guys.
Cheers, guys. Come on, you Lions.